And now, the time fight fans all across the globe have been waiting for. It's the main card with your man, the voice, in the opposite corner, my mano, my verbal sparring partner, the man that went to change his hat because he saw I had that city red on. Wildress Ruff.
Let's not lie to the people, boys. I changed the hat because it had green under it and the green screen doesn't show up. We don't care enough about your hat. It's the Phillies. The NL East leading Phillies at this point in time.
Okay.
And just like the Phillies, I want the smoke. Because that's what we're here for. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main card. It's your man Wooders here with the man, the myth, the legend, the man who's always got some hat on, screaming good call. My mono, my verbal sparring partner. Yeah, I took that from you. The voice. How you doing, boss?
Hey, I am honored because imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got you down pat, big dog. Caw-caw. That's what you do. I just got to put on my Bruce voice.
Not quite. It's more caw-caw.
I don't care nothing about that. Ladies and gentlemen, so excited to be back with y'all. We got another amazing episode. We're going to get into some middleweight domination. We're going to head to the UFC Apex, and of course, the Voices marquee matchup. But first, we got to get into some KOs and low blows. And it's been a minute, so Voice, let's do it.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, boys. I didn't think we'd be here again, but here we are. Boxing legend Mike Tyson has been offered another return to the ring, this time against an MMA legend, the Last Emperor. Now, boys, what makes this so odd and weird is the last time we saw Mike Tyson in the ring, many of us were saying, you know what? It's time for Mike to call it quits. He's had an amazing career, but maybe Mike is just tired. Mike is like, you know what? I'm finna go out fighting. Mike want to be Apollo Creed so bad. Hopefully it doesn't, go like that. And hopefully this ends up being what it is. And it's funny that I say that because I saw many articles were saying like he looked really bad in his last fight and people were concerned about his health. So hopefully Mike Tyson is back where he needs to be. I know before the last fight though, he was dealing with some health stuff, and he hasn't even accepted this yet. So we'll see. But it appears he's being courted back to the ring once more, and this was actually revealed in a quote by APL President Almazan Bektaev in a transcribed article on May 27th with Mirror, and he stated, "We're planning a bout between Mike Tyson and the Last Emperor. Work in this direction is already underway. The tournament where we want to invite Mike Tyson is scheduled for December." Boys, I gotta ask you, with many people concerned about Mike Tyson's health and many people being disappointed by his last outing, what do you make of this?
I say if Mike is going to fight again, this is the kind of fight that you want. You want another legend. You want someone else who is not in their physical prime. And someone who doesn't really box. So, I mean, Fedor, again, is the GOAT. He is known for his many exploits within the arena of MMA. And I say that because his legend grew in pride where they fought in a ring. So fighting in a ring won't be anything new for him. Not being able to use knees and elbows and grappling will be. He is a combat sambo practitioner. He has been training his fighters for quite some time. I told you I took the picture of him from his last pro fight where he was fighting Ryan Bader, and the man was smiling because he was like, it's over. And he'll be smiling in this one too, smiling all the way to the bank, because it is not going to be competitive in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's probably going to be a really sloppy fight, honestly. And it would strictly be for whatever name recognition having both of these people there together would bring.
Man, I didn't like a lot of the articles I saw where they were talking about Mike's health and like everything like that, but you can't lie. Seeing Mike Tyson just walk to the ring gives goosebumps.
It didn't give me goosebumps when he was hobbling and almost falling. Couldn't make it to the ring against Jake Paul, that did not give me goosebumps. Or it did because it made me scared for him.
But I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because Mike said he was dealing with some health situations before that. And I think this time if we see him, maybe this is one of the last times that we see him in the ring. He's gonna be healthy. Because before the bout, Mike was in the ring getting it in. I thought it was gonna be a knockout. Count me as one of the people who thought it was gonna be a knockout. You know what I mean? But
I guess not that his health may not have had anything to do with it. But what does the health have to do with the fact that the man had a knee brace on? Never seen anyone boxing a knee brace in my life.
I mean, the wrestlers do it all the time, so I don't really know what to make of that.
Well, again, we're not gonna get into that. The MMA practitioners have also done so, but I've never in life seen a boxer in a knee brace. And this is the same man who 15, 20 years ago could not beat journeyman boxers who no one had ever heard of. Again, Fedor, big name, but not a boxer. So for Mike, this is great. For Fedor, it's great for his bank account. Don't know how great it is for his health. I don't know if this is going to be more of an exhibition kind of deal, a la Tyson's fight with Roy Jones Jr. There's still so much up in the air. And who's to say that the fight even happens? This is great publicity because it brings eyes and attention to this mythical tournament in Kazakhstan. And whether it happens or not, we now know that it exists.
Well, there you have it. We'll definitely have updates here if there are any updates on the bout, if it's happening here on the main card.
That we will. Just like we keep you updated regarding the things that go on in the world of professional wrestling. Well, let me be more specific. In the world of WWE. And recently, like within the past couple of days, it was announced that there will be a fatal four-way for the Money in the Bank title. I guess you would call it that. But to receive the Money in the Bank briefcase, you have Jey Uso, current champion. John Cena, current champion. But you also have former champ in Cody Rhodes in this, as well as, I forget the fourth person who's in it that quickly.
Logan Paul,
that's right. Former U.S. champ Logan Paul, which that's a great segue from the Tyson fight. Logan Paul, I can see being in it. Cody Rhodes, I can see being in it. But I got a problem with John Cena and Jey Uso being in the thing as they're already champions. It's like, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense unless they're getting ready to get snaked and that title's taken. Why make this matchup?
Okay, so to clear it up for complete clarity, because I didn't realize that that's what you thought it was. This is not a fatal four-way match.
Okay.
This is a tag team match between the two. On one side, you have Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Okay. And they're going to be facing John Cena and Logan Paul.
Okay.
So for me,
it's a tag team match for Money in the Bank, and then whichever team wins, then it's the person without a title has the briefcase.
So it's not even that. So the Money in the Bank PLE is coming up. The Money in the Bank matches are still going to happen for the men and the women. They're having the preliminary matches now to find out who's still going to fill those spots. Gotcha. I want to say there's maybe 7. There's either 6 or 7 per match, and the winner gets the briefcase that they then can cash in at any time on one of the champions available. So It could be Jey Uso, it could be John Cena, or it could be a U.S. championship or an Intercontinental Championship. Okay. What makes this match so big is, number one, the star power. You have 4 of the biggest names right now in professional wrestling in WWE Number 2 is the return of Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has been out since that loss at WrestleMania. We've been waiting to see what's going to happen, and him returning at Saturday night's main event was a big deal, and a lot of people were actually waiting for him to see it. Count me as one of those people who, I know what I've said previously about Cody's title reign, but John Cena's title reign really has not added up to me as far as I'm concerned. I know there's some people who like it, there's some people who don't, but John Cena's title reign has not really added up much. Bringing Cody Rhodes back into the realm and having them go at it is going to be great, especially as they continue the story. As far as Jey Uso and Logan Paul, that I'm kind of against. I'm not a big fan in how Jey Uso's been booked as champion, because yes, you have to take Jey serious. I mean, he beat Gunther and he tapped him out, and the build up to it. The one issue I've always had with WWE is once people become champions, world champions, they don't really book them to be as strong. Sometimes they book them to be so vulnerable that you're just kind of like, well, look at what he did to get there. So this tag team match is literally going to be predicated off of what happened at Saturday night's main event. Is going to carry them over going into the next pay-per-view. Jey Uso is also scheduled to face Gunther. I believe that's June 9th in Phoenix. But here's the kicker, boys. Money in the Bank is taking place that night. Money in the Bank is most likely not going to be the main event. The main event is going to be that tag team match. So what happens if during that tag team match, the Money in the Bank winner comes in, jumps in the ring at the end of it, at the end of a long, grueling battle between the tag teams, and cashes in on one of the champions? It's magic. Okay. It's a perfect opportunity. And there's a number of different people who could actually cash in on them based off who's in there. And that includes your guy, Solo Sikoa. Also, your guy, Jacob Fatu, is going to be in that match also. So there's a number of different ways that it can go. But Money in the Bank is always a great PLE. Most people really didn't understand the tag team match here, but it does fit, and it is a build over as we go into the summer months. Because you got a couple, you actually have a couple of international PLEs that are going to happen before you hit SummerSlam. Okay.
That makes a whole lot more sense than what I thought. Although, I still kind of like my angle, because I like to see a fatal four-way, even a tag team match where you still have the Money in the Bank briefcase above, because that will get interesting and definitely can turn some friends into foes. And I like my idea better. So, Hunter, you know what to do.
You heard him, Hunter.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm sure he did not. And I wouldn't listen to me either. But I would listen to me when it comes to MMA and boxing. And we're going to get into both of those on the other side. We've got two super middleweight bouts that, if things line up the way that they are planned, will produce another bout. And then we have a blood feud against two flyweight fighters. It's the main card. Keep it locked.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process, and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals, and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do. Ozell brand. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Awesome, man. Shout out to the brand Ozell Brands, man. Make sure you go get those cleats and get your Bruce Royce so you can go out and ridiculously scream caw into the streets for a team that is not even really all that. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So we are just the face of a league, and we're not all that. Okay.
The face of it don't matter. It's, you disrespect my wrestling. I disrespect your battle cats.
I disrespect everything about Philly, including the fact that you all no longer have a spring league team.
We don't need a spring league team. You know why? Because we play professional football.
Not like y'all win anything. Oh, y'all won last year. Okay.
Moving
on.
Cook.
Yeah, but y'all don't. Y'all birds too, but y'all don't have a battle cry like that.
We don't,
Eagles fly, go birds.
Because they have championships in Philly. Anyway, voice. We got some great things to get into because you know what? It's more than a fight, voice. It's a crossroad moment for two fighters literally trying to figure out not only what's next, but they're stepping into the ring in the Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas with different stakes in mind. Prime Video's bringing you to action, but it's a lot to break down, voice. And for Toro, this fight is literally about him proving that he belongs. Now, he's already shocked the boxing world once when he stopped former IBF champion Jarrett Hurd 2 years ago when no one saw it coming. But instead of riding that wave into a title shot, he ran into a wall, voice. A wall named Elijah Garcia, taking an 8th round TKO. Now he's got another shot with the former champion, and this time he said he's looking to rewrite history. He stated about his co-trainer actually stated he has nothing to lose and a lot to win. He's a great body puncher, and he puts a lot of pressure on his opponents. Now that pressure is exactly what he plans to actually bring against Caleb Plant. And Toro said he respects the man in front of him, and he knows exactly what he's facing. He said, I know Caleb Plant is a top-level fighter. He's a former world champion for a reason. He's fast, he's technical, and he's been in there with the best. I respect everything he's accomplished, but I didn't take this fight just to be another name on his resume. And voice, if you think he's just here for the effort, he's letting you know. He stated, I put in the work and I made the sacrifices, and I'm coming in prepared to give him a tough fight. This is the kind of challenge I've always wanted, to go up against the best and prove I belong with the best. And he said, voice, he's going to remember my name. Now, on the other side of this matchup, you have Caleb Plant, who's walking in as literally the overwhelming favorite. You know, he's a former IBF 168-pound champion. He has experience. There's that sharp technique, and his resume dwarfs a lot of your favorite boxers. But the thing with Caleb Plant is, based on a lot of people's perspective, he showed a lot of cracks in his last fight. Trevor McCumbee, another big underdog, put Plant on the canvas in the 4th round last September. And Plant did rally, and he adjusted, and he did break McCumbee down to get the stoppage. But the power shots is what had a lot of people alarmed. The power shots were landing, and Toro said he's watching. He says fans are going to see a fighter who leaves it all in the ring. I'm bringing pressure, energy, and heart from the opening bell, and I'm not coming to back up. I'm coming to bring the fight to him. You're going to see someone who's hungry to win and willing to go through whatever it takes to get the job done. Now, Plant has taken none of this lightly and said that he knows he can't afford to mess up. He said, me and my team have been working very hard to ensure that we stop Armando, get my hand raised, and then go on about our business. So he said to make sure that you tune in on May 31st, because I'm going to take another step towards proving that I'm one of the best. And whenever one of y'all, he was talking about another fight where I actually going to speak on with CharloLaManna, he said, get your hand raised, and then we're going to get it on and cracking as well. So, voice, I got to ask. This fight is carrying not really a lot of animosity, but a lot of anticipation for two fighters trying to prove exactly their next step and that they belong where they are. What do you make of this, and how do you see this playing out considering how Caleb Plant's last fight went?
The one thing that has really been, it's really been at the forefront this year in boxing is that where there is familiarity, the finale in the ring is much the same. We saw Dubois. I'm shaking my head. We saw Dubois just absolutely destroy my man Anthony Joshua. Why? Because they had history, and Dubois did in the fight what he did as a young pup in sparring many years prior. we have here with Plant and Resendiz another couple of people who've come together before and sparred. And Resendiz sparred Plant as recently as Plant's fight versus Canelo, which it was a couple years ago. Granted, Resendiz is a different fighter now. He's got more experience. But when you get whooped, kind of like we know that Tank and Lamont Roach had some history. When you get somebody's number, you don't forget that. And you and I both have been practitioners of martial arts. When you go in and you done whoop somebody, even though it's in sparring, you don't forget that. Likewise, when you get whooped by somebody, even though it's in sparring, you don't forget that. You don't forget that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Plant has said, look, I'm going to demolish this dude. And then after that, hopefully I fight Charlo. If not Charlo, then, bring on, not Benavidez, because he's already lost to him, but Berlanga, called out Berlanga. It's mentioned Pacheco. It's mentioned some other big names that he looks to fight, but he's got to plant his flag, pardon the pun, against Resendiz to have that opportunity.
It'll be interesting to see. Now, once I got to ask you before we move on, a lot of people have accused Caleb Plant of cherry picking his opponents. What do you think about that?
You fight who you can fight. I don't really hear too many people calling out Caleb Plant's name as far as, someone to fight. So I don't think that it's as much cherry picking as you fight the fights that you can get. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, he's mentioning Berlanga. He's mentioning Pacheco. He's mentioning named fighters. I mean, come on, he lost to Canelo. He did his thing against Darrell, who I don't know has fought since then. With Trevor McCombie, it was kind of questionable. Who's he supposed to be calling out? Like, who is he dunking?
Well, we'll definitely see. Caleb Plant definitely feels like he has a lot to prove in his last 4 fights. He's 2-2, but if we're being honest, both of those losses are coming to powerhouses in the middleweight division. And what you mentioned, David Benavidez and, of course, Canelo Alvarez, both in championship matches. Make sure you all tune in. Make sure you check Voice's social media because he's going to be covering it, giving you round by round for that main event. Now, that's not the only major main event that's actually going to be happening. Saturday night at the UFC Apex, Voice, Erin Blanchfield is going to step into the spotlight once again. And she's looking to prove, Voice, that cold-blooded ain't just a nickname, it's a promise. She's fresh off a hard-earned victory over former champion Rose Namajunas and has carved out a reputation as one of flyweight division's most technically sound and relentless competitors. Now, she's beaten former title challengers. She's taken out former champions. And now what stands in her way on the brink of proving that she belongs in the conversation is someone that she actually shares a current record with. A fighter who actually is not buying her hype in Maycee Barber. Now, this Maycee Barber, of course, is confident. She's aggressive. She's unapologetically vocal. And she stated she is ready to test the narrative surrounding Blanchfield. Now, Barber has made it clear she is not impressed by her opponent. She said, hey, she's a boring fighter. As a matter of fact, her fighting style is terrible. She got lucky against Rose, and I'm here to expose the flaws that Man and Fury already showed. She said this fight is a fascinating clash of styles and personalities, with Blanchfield, the composed technician supposedly, versus me, the powerhouse striker hungry to prove that I belong in this tier. So, Voice, the question that I gotta ask you is Maycee making a point? Is Blanchfield overrated? Or what we seeing from her really the greatness that's just not being appreciated?
I don't think that Blanchfield is overrated. I think she's rated properly, especially after that loss to Manon, because she was really being pegged and pushed by the UFC as someone who was going to challenge for the title. In her fight against Manon, she fell short. And what did Manon do? She went on to fight for the title next. So I don't think that the hype is, or I should say, I don't think whatever's being said about her is incorrect. It just is what it is. She is who she is. She's proven that at the top level, she wasn't quite able to get it done, though she, rolled off some wins before that. Again, when it came to, that final step, she just could not make it, which is why she stepped back and is now fighting against Barber, who, is on a 6-fight win streak, and that is to be touted, that she's on a 6-fight win streak, but she hasn't fought the level of competition that Blanchfield has. I mean, Blanchfield, in getting to that fight with Manon, defeated with a rear naked choke Jessica Andrade, who's not only a former champion, but her base, she knocks everybody out. Her base is jiu-jitsu. And you choke out a black belt? Then she goes on to defeat Talia Santos, who also was someone who fought for a title. So it's not like her hype was not there, where Macy, again, yes, she's won 6 in a row. The competition has not been nearly as steep. I mean, Caitlin, there's something or other that she beat. She beat back in March. Her win against Hivas, that was a very good win, ground and pound win. But then split decision to Andrea Lee. Decision over Jessica I. Decision over Montana De La Rosa. I mean, she fought some folks, but she hasn't fought the people at the same level and the same caliber, and beat the same people at the caliber and the level that Blanchfield has. Again, she does have the win streak on her side, definitely. She also has the KO power on her side, seeing as she's knocked out 6 of her opponents, 4 of those in the UFC. But Barber is also coming in off of being hospitalized for 11 days because of an infection, and then having to forego her fight with Rose Namajunas because of that same infection. We don't know what she's going to look like. This is a great litmus test for both fighters.
I think it's interesting for her to say that, like you said, considering the fact of the competition that Blanchfield has defeated to get here. But you can't ignore a 6-fight win streak is a lot. And it's going to be interesting, boys, because there's a fun fact for you. Blanchfield is actually going to be defending that win streak, because right now, her and Macy are both tied for 4th longest win streak in the UFC flyweight women's division. With a win, Macy surpasses her for 3rd. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be exciting to see. That's going to be at the UFC Apex, of course. Make sure that you're following MTMV Sports and The Voice so that you can understand exactly how this is being scored and get some of the greatest insight in MMA combat reporting history. You see what I just did there? And ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the time of one of my favorite segments on the main card, The Voice's Marquee Matchup. Now, this is usually a matchup that The Voice has that's slightly under the radar, something that you should always look out for. There's usually a reason as to why he has it as one of the matchup. Is one of 2 reasons, but I'm gonna let him go ahead and tell you. Voice, tell us about this week's marquee matchup.
Yeah, this week the Voice's marquee matchup is between Jamal, the older brother, Charlo, of the Charlo twins, and Cornflake. That's right, Cornflake, Thomas LaManna. Why is this the Voice's marquee matchup? Well, like the fight between Blanchfield and Barber, you have a fighter in Charlo who's been out a while, due to different things health-wise, taking on, a fighter of, well, I can't even call LaManna a fighter of note, but someone who definitely knows how to get your goat. He's been poking at and teasing and just doing a phenomenal troll job against Charlo, because this fight was first supposed to take place in March on the Roach Tank card, and then poof, it went away. When it went away, LaManna got online, was like, hey, I thought we were supposed to be fighting. What's going on? How you doing? How's your health? How's your mental health? You seem, emotional. He continues to say that, and definitely he's gotten under the skin of Charlo. Whenever Charlo talks to him or about him, he is visibly upset, and that could be a good thing for LaManna, because Charlo has been out due to mental health issues that has been well publicized. He has gone through a divorce, seems to be in a better place right now. But when you're out for mental health issues and you are like this fired up, how's that going to play out? Again, could work very well for LaManna. On the other hand, though, it could work very, very poorly for him, because he may have just awakened the sleeping giant by taking all these shots. Boy, Charlo's like, you do too much talking. Stop. You typing, doing all this typing. I'm ready to fight. Now, he didn't say that, but your man voice got to put some things together from time to time. But that's pretty much what he was saying. Stop typing, start fighting. Forget these Twitter fingers and let's get these hands. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because again, Charlo is not happy at all, and LaManna has also set up some things for himself, because if he can be successful, then he might be fighting Plant next if Plant is able to win. Plant has his own challenges ahead of him with someone who has knocked out all but 4 of the opponents that he's faced in his short career. But make no doubt, this fight should be very, very entertaining, because you have a fired up, ready to go Charlo versus a seemingly cool, calm, and collected Cornflake.
Well, I mean, it's been a lot of fireworks between the two. Charlo, he definitely doesn't take well to the trash talk, but he also has not been in the boxing ring, I believe, since 2023. I think his last fight was against Jose Benavidez, and that was actually a win. That was it wasn't a knockout. I think
no, it wasn't. It was a decision win.
Yeah, it was a unanimous decision. So it's going to be interesting to see. Thomas LaManna might be biting off a little bit more than he can chew, or like you said, he could come out and Cornflake might make Charlo choke. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That's also going to be on the card. Make sure you're following the voice on that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have given you the steak of your meal for combat sports this weekend. But we have a segment here called Last Words, where Voice breaks it down and he gives you, some of the sides, maybe a little potato salad, maybe a potato. I mean, it could be potato chips, but he's going to give it to you. Voice, tell us about the final fights that we have looking forward to.
All right. Thank you for being so flexible and covering up the snack food that I had.
But see, you didn't have to mention it because I was covering you. I had you, big dog.
I appreciate it. So, game recognized game. So, when you're on your game like that, I got to give you your props. It's all right, because I'm so smooth that even when I make a mistake, I make it look good.
Ooh.
Man, okay.
That's a verse. You like about
we might need to stop the show right there. I don't think we need to talk about any more fights. It has been we'll talk about a few. Mateusz Gamrot and Ludovic Klein are on that same UFC card, as well as you got Ketlin Vieira and Macy Chiasson on that card. On the boxing end, you've got Kyron Davis fighting on that Caleb Plant and Jamal Charlo card. You've got Bektamir Melikuziev in action in Vegas on Friday. So you got a lot of good fights that are coming your way that may not have the same marquee value as the fights that we mentioned in the main part of the show, but definitely are fights that you want to keep your eye on. What about wrestling wise? You know, the SmackDown is coming up. Are there any bouts that we should pay close attention to as we are moving towards the next PLE?
I mean, of course, you want to make sure that you take a look at SmackDown. SmackDown is going to continue to have the Money in the Bank qualifiers. I believe that's going to be Jade Cargill versus my girl Naomi versus, it's on the tip of my tongue, Nia Jax. That's going to be a great match. And then, of course, you have on June 7th is going to be the Money in the Bank PLE. We're going to continue to give you even more. And also, shout out to Trick Williams, who just this past weekend became the NXT's first TNA champion when he defeated Joe Hendry at the PLE. That was amazing. And also, you got some great ones. Also, JC Jane also defeated Stephanie Vaquer in one of the most surprising wins I have ever seen. If you got a chance to see that clip, make sure you check out YouTube. Seeing the announcer, and everyone else in the building be shocked at that loss is big. But I believe because there's big things coming up, as Stephanie Vaquer and also Jordan Grace maybe getting that call up to Raw and SmackDown respectively.
Yeah, I saw the win as well as the potential placements that those women are potentially getting. All right. What sounds like. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last word. We thank you all for continuing to tune in with us each week. We love what we do. We are MTMV Sports. We're the fans. We're you. We just go in, we do the work so that you know exactly what you're looking for. We do the research. We do this. We work hard on this. We make sure that we drop content for you all. We got some amazing people and an amazing team behind us. You have shows for everybody. You got the Full 94 with two of the top people here on the Full 94. That's my producer right there. You have Not the Same podcast. Shout out to the fellas, man. I was just on this show, got to do this show. Pretty Girl Love Sports. You got the V Report. You got the new segment on site. Shout out to Rick. That's an amazing segment. You got HBCU with Miss Marvel. You have some amazing shows on there. And then you also have Time Out with The Voice. So make sure you all like, share, and subscribe. We are everywhere where podcasts are, and we appreciate you all for tuning in each week and also your engagement. Thank you all for tuning in. Voice, take us out.
Until next time, fight the good fight.
What's going on, family? It's your man, Wildress.
And it's your man, the myth, the legend, the voice.
And you just finished watching the main card on the MTMV network.
Yeah, for more great shows just like this, smash the subscribe button.